Ricardo, how does research reach policymakers? Is there a problem in between, or the problem is on the research side, or is on the policy side? What do you think?
I don't think we can actually generalize too much. My own experience is that I've worked with decision makers who are very...
You cannot talk about the problem, at least.
No, there is a problem. Oh. There is a problem. I think we have a very serious challenge to our democracies. Very serious challenge to our democracies, because we realize that in non-democratic contexts, well, at least in the way we define democracies in Europe and in the West, there are non-democratic contexts in which policymakers seem to be much more sensitive to scientific knowledge and are more willing to absorb the conclusions of scientific research into practical decisions. And there is one reason for that, is that non-democracies are not subjected to policy cycles. And this is something that we are facing, and we haven't been able to find a good solution for that, because most of the things that make a difference, they will take more than 4 years to actually develop. Cristina was talking about strategic planning. I mean, strategic planning is something that you do with a 10 years horizon, 20 years horizon. And in democracies, what we'll find very often is that policy makers, they want to leave a mark on their position during they hold a certain position. But most of the times, the marks they can leave, they are either non-relevant, or they will take too much time to produce any kind of visible results. And if it is the former, is bad. If it's the second, is also bad, because they will not want to do that. This doesn't mean that it is not possible for a politician to have a long-term view. I mean, I've known some politicians that do have this long-term view, but the political system is biased towards those that are looking for short-term gains. And to face long-term problems, this is a challenge. Now, you were asking if the problem is only on the political side or is also on the university side. We have been discussing during this day of the Pioneer Festival, very often we have been facing the issue of incentives, of academic incentives. Most of scholars, academic scholars, their career does not depend on their capacity to have an impact, on their capacity to give good advice to decision makers. And also there is a problem of incentives that in our institutions we haven't been able to solve decently until now. So I would say that we have challenges, institutional challenges in both sides of the interaction between politics and academia. I don't want to convey a very dark image of this, because I do believe that what we do in academia is not useless for policymakers, and I do not believe that policymakers are totally insensitive to what the evolution, the development of scientific knowledge is, but we do have some issues there that we also have to tackle.
Cristina, I think you have also a lot to say about this. What's your opinion about the role of the universities?
Thank you, Sarah. Well, now I reverse Ricardo and I turn the bright one and like proposing a bright future. Well, okay, so university's third mission, and also this idea that we need to have a social impact and work together with territories and the ecosystems we are embedded in, is a key element, no, that drives or should drive at least research and education from the start, meaning that the engagement of ecosystem partners from local government to the third sector and the private sector needs to be built from day one. So I completely recognize and share and understand what Ricardo was mentioning about the policy windows and actually the institutional rhythms that usually do not combine neither with the neither with what is needed for planning, the time that is needed for planning, strategic planning, nor they combine with the time that is needed for research to be actually like to start and arrive to a point, not even a solution. But then I think there is also where our work as institutions, as research institutions, as universities, lays and is a potential, like to kind of not really align the windows, the rhythms of the institutions, but to keep track of this. That's on one point. And also this morning you mentioned that Iscte is one of the leading or starting universities that has been working with businesses and like the ecosystem, the local ecosystem. That's actually the same for Iuav University. This year we actually scored to be the first university in Italy in terms of results with the third mission, with engaging with the ecosystem. That was the national evaluation results. And I think this is a model that both of our university pursue and that many of other universities, particularly within the Pioneer Alliance, are pursuing. And that's why we came together in the Pioneer. So the idea is really that the Pioneer Alliance as a group of universities, of 10 different universities, foster the idea that knowledge is not just constructed for the society, but built with it in a model that interlinks education, research, and ecosystems. So this civic university model, deeply engaged with the cities, but also with the potential of working at the international scale, and having actually an unprecedented capacity to act on urban trajectories at a European level and even further. I mean, it's 10 different universities, more than 5,000 researchers directly engaging on SDG 11, and an explicit commitment to work on critical priority areas that we have been identifying in the last year through a collective and painful process that included not only researchers, but also many of our associated partners. So we have also been validating these priorities with our partners, particularly with cities, regional administrations in different contexts, European contexts. So this is not only an invitation, or maybe this is actually an invitation to our ecosystem, including Filipa in this case, and the metropolitan city of Lisbon, to knock at our doors. Probably you already collaborate, but now you know that you can rely on an even larger network and competences. But it's also a reminder that the continuous collaboration between cities and universities requires time. And commitment and the willingness from all the sides to stay engaged in this process. So, thank you.
Filipa, and what's your experience? Is there enough collaboration between AML and university and research centers, or?
Our ambition is build a more cohesive, more competitive, more prepared Lisbon area, metropolitan area, capable of meeting challenges are coming decades. A metropolitan religion have a person, place, resident is not determined where they live and the access of the opportunities. This is our main function. So the public service and quality life, our priorities of this metropolitan area. Of course, the academy have many importance to give us their reality and knowledge, college and development projects with us to give these solutions. By the end of this term, I hope that we will be able to say that we have taken concrete steps to deliver more integrated and efficient mobility system, accelerated green and energy transition, and a real cooperation in 18 municipalities that more effective with responsibility and chances, housing, innovation, economy, development, poverty reduction is our priorities too, and solution inclusion. I want to believe that the metropolitan area is able to lead these projects, not with a single municipality like Lisbon, like a capital has in the past, but recognize a common strategic points and share with the national government, business, universities, civil society, and attracting investment to build the cohesion around the shared vision of this biggest region of Portugal. New initiatives is our ambition, innovated to deliver tangible results for who live, who work, who invest here. Less time spending, greater resilience to climate change, more opportunities for young people, and more innovative, competitive, and inclusive economy, and for the old people too, because we have health problems like the mental health, and some people of Portugal have problems of isolated because are more oldest and sometimes getting more alone, and this kind of social problems we have very clear in our strategy to development with academy and a metropolitan area. I want to believe that Lisbon metropolitan area is more united, more sustainable, and better prepared for the future, where the cooperation between municipalities is recognized that more effective way is to improve people's lives. So this vision is already being translated in concrete projects like Metropolitan Network for Migration and Resilient People, Metropolitan Network for People Homeless, and at the same time without developing the digital project that the platform will enable share management across municipalities, strategic policies, areas, promoting more coordinated, efficient, and data-driven approach. This is the way.
Okay.
But
okay.
all not alone way, but with cooperation with university, social society, and our mayors and our municipalities giving their different points, and the solution
Very good.
is shared. Okay.
We are almost out of time, but I want to end with a different question, and a very simple one, a little bit more personal. If you could visit a city you have never been to, anywhere in the world, in next few months, few years, would it be?
Thank you. Okay, so out from the blue, I don't know why you like questioning from like wondering where would I go, and the first answer that comes to my mind would be Johannesburg, and I don't know why. I don't even want to know why. That's the answer that came to my mind. It's very interesting. But now what I'm thinking is I've been to Lisbon before. It was more than 10 years ago, but probably like I need a couple of hours to explore a bit. Yeah.
I like the Oriental countries, and I would like to be in Kyoto because I come from Sintra. I live in Sintra, and I think Japan and Kyoto is a millennial mentalities. So They share the traditional and the innovation. And I hope one day go and to learn more about this peaceful mind. And with a little bit of innovation and speedy life, and I think it's very, and the national heritage for me is very important too.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
Ricardo.
Well, we're not talking really about tourism. If would be talking about tourism, I would say other cities. We're talking about planning and quality of life and managing cities in a sustainable way. And from this point of view, I was always a bit curious about some cities in Australia, especially Melbourne, which has some reputation of being a city that offers a lot of quality of life. And in a very opposite part of the world, there are a few cities also in Canada, which I think can be. Vancouver is a city that I would like to visit from this point of view, because I think these are cities in which the idea of planning and being concerned with quality of life was something present. I don't think these are examples of paradise, but I think there are some elements in the way the communities have thought about how to organize themselves in a specific territory that probably will be interesting to learn from.
Very nice. Thank you. Cristina, thank you all. Cristina Catalanotti, Filipa Guimarães, and Ricardo Paes Mamede. I think this has been a very rich conversation. Thank you all for being here, listening to our pioneer talks from Iscte University Institute of Lisbon.